instantly I will reply, or I will reply maybe in 10, 20 minutes, maximum. Okay. All right. Now look at the second one, which is the dynamic NAT. Dynamic NAT, be careful. It is only required when I in my network I have some application which is not supported on PAT. Otherwise, never use dynamic NAT just to show that you know enough, you know the logic and all that. So see, it's always recommended that your topology or your network should be as simple as it can. No one wants that you are a good expert in that things or any topic. Your job is to make that thing simple, not to make things complicated and so off that yeah, I am able to do this complicated thing. Network should be always simple and it should be the cost effective. So dynamic is only configured when there is some requirement, some application is not supported on that. In dynamic case, what we need four things. The first thing is required, which is our access list to match all my private IPs in the network. Second thing, I also need to configure the direction, which is inside and what is the next thing? Third thing, I need a one extra thing which is called as a IP pool. Because see that dynamic IP is changing from man to few. So what is that few IP? So that few IP is my pool, means range of some IP. So I need to one extra step which is IP. And the last step is your NAT tool, which will be the same that we are doing. So these four things will be done. So if I go and show you one by one, I will configure first this, then on my interface inside outside, and then my IP pool, then NAT pool. So let's go on the gateway router and delete that old fat rule. I don't want that. Correct? I need a dynamic thing. So I will go and delete that. I will delete my access list also, just to show you. I will delete my interface leave that way. I will now configure a access list first, maybe this time 15, and match my all the private IP address like this 1.0.255. Then I have a 2.0.0. Then I have three. These are my three private IP address range that I want to change to the public IP when they are going to the outside. So access list is basically used to map my all the private IP. Then interface, go interface and decide the direction. So go under the interface, gigabit 0/0. It is my IP nav inside. 0/1 is my IP nav inside, and then 0/. It is my IP nav. Access list direction is done. What is third thing? Third thing is the IP pool. So let's configure that public IP range. What public IP pool I will use? Definitely, whatever the public pool I'm going to use, it has to be reachable from my router 2 and from my ISP. So in this case, because they are on a public network, so I will use that any spare IP from that. Okay. So let's do that. I will configure that command. How the command is configured to pool? IP NAT pool and give a name, any name, ABC, and then it will ask you the range of IP, start IP, the end IP. So obviously, I will use my public IP, which is known by my gateway router and also July 170. So first IP, second IP, I have already assigned to my this gateway router, and so maybe I can use the third IP, and then it's asking about the end IP. So I will write that 120.10.10.6. Just 34564 IP I'm going to use. And then the net mask. Net mask means this, the IP pool that you are giving, it is on which net actually. So it is on network 255.255.240. That means for you clearly again, IP NAT pool, give any name, and then your start IP, end IP, and this IPs are on which subnet mask. This one for you. That's three things. First thing we decided about how my private IP addresses are, that will be changed into the public IP 123 in the direction. How my router will understand which is inside direction, which is outside direction. Then my IP pool, NAT pool, and then at the last, my rule. So let's configure now the IP NAT rule. IP NAT inside source list 10, and this time I will use pool, and pool name is ABC. That's it. Here I'm telling to my router, if anything is coming on inside direction, on inside interface, means on this interface and this interface, then check the source IP in the packet. And if the source IP in the packet is matching according to access list 10, then change that source IP to this public IP pool ABC. Means any IP from that string. Clear? IP NAT inside means I'm telling to my router, if any packet you are observing on 00 or 01 interface, check the source IP in the packet, and if the source IP in the packet is matching according to the access list 10, then change that source IP to this pool IP. What is that pool IP? A public IP. This IP. That's it. Now, if my this rule is configured properly and everything is good, I will be able to ping from anywhere to anywhere. Here is my pool, here is my NAT rule, and here is my access. Let's try to do it from this PC, then second, then third. Easily first 2, 3 packet will drop, there is no problem. A dot A dot. Okay. If my NAT rule is configured properly, 110% I will get the reply. Otherwise, we'll check that. What is the problem in our configuration? So we are not getting here the reply. Let's wait for one more time. And that is not working. So if I go and check it here in the NAT translation, so IP NAT translation. So yes, there is no translation happening. So there is some problem in my NAT tool. What is that problem? We'll see here. My IP is 170.77.326. Is it right? How many IP we are getting? 6 IP from 1 to 6. So yeah, that pool is right. Pool name is ABC. That is also right. IP NAT inside source. Yeah, IP NAT access list is 15. Yeah, what is the problem? Problem is this in IP NAT. My access list is 15. And what I'm writing here, I'm writing here the 10. Because earlier I did it with the 10. So that's why the problem. All right? Let's change it. So no, and then type the whole command. That's NAT. Okay. Copy this and paste it. So it's very important to understand that if it is not working, obviously you have done some mistake. So check it properly. This is the only thing. You need to check your access list is matching or not. Or not. And then configure it again, your NAT. IP NAT inside source list 10 and the pool is ABC. Again, I did that. IP NAT and the number is 3 because the reason is most of the time for my OSPF, the IGRP or access list, I use the number 10. So it is in frequently used by me. That's why. So, all right, let's go again. This time, if it is matching, I will be able to get the reply. Yep, I'm able to get the reply from the web server. So here also, I will be able to get the reply. Yes. Or OSPF or static. Any routing protocol is required. That's why you need to learn first routing protocol. Because by default, router only understand their local network. They don't understand any other network. So you need a routing protocol. Yeah, but it's working. Now if I go and check my processing table, I will definitely get how the IPs are translated. See that. My source IP is changing to the 3 IP. See that now I have a 6 IP. Sorry, the 4 IP. So they are changing on a different IP. See that 3.7.3, 7.4, 7.5, like that. Right? So how many IPs we have total? We have in this range of IP address total 4 IPs. See that from 3 to 6, only 4 IPs. So there is a one restriction here that only 4 private IP can be changed to 4 public IP at a time. Means at a one time, only 4 devices can communicate from your network to the outside world because you have just the 4 public IP, correct? Once it is exhausted, the next fifth person will not get the internet connection in dynamic. There is a problem. So to solve this problem, what you can do is you can increase the number of IP pool, or you can use this option. Configure your dynamic NAT this way, and after configuring your dynamic NAT, use this word overload. It means you are telling to your router, hey, once the IP address is exhausted, the public IP is exhausted, just shift on the path and use the port number to provide connection to the rest of the. So if you use a overload word, that will be good. Your device, your gateway router will never be exhausted by the public IP. At a time, I mean, hundreds of devices can get the internet connection and no problem. So this word can be used. All right. Now let's go for the last option, which is static. In static NAT, only two steps is there. So the static NAT, we have a two step. One, you need to configure directory inside and outside. Second is your NAT. Why I don't need a access list? Because static NAT is a one-to-one. The one IP to the one public IP that I will define in the NAT rule itself. So why I need access, right? So in a static NAT, the easiest I just needed two rules, direction and NAT rule. So direction, already I defined my 00 and 01 is the inside, and outside is my, the 02 is my outside. So we'll configure the static net for what? For my this server. For my this server. I'm saying that 3.100, which is the IP. Let me check what is the IP of my this server. Internal. This is on private IP. 3 dot, let's make it as 100. 3.100 of my web server IP will be converted to 170.77.4 public IP by this setting. I will define it in the NAT. Directory is already there. So anyone from the outside, if they want to connect my web server, they will ping the public IP and they will get connected to my web server. So let's see that how to configure this static NAT. And one interesting thing, when you are configuring your static NAT, you don't have to delete your dynamic or the patch NAT. No way. It will work properly because the static is a one-to-one, so it will not create any problem for your other NAT. Never. So direction is already there. I just need to write my NAT. IP NAT inside source, and this time I will write the word IP NAT inside source itself because I'm doing a static NAT. So when you are doing a static NAT, first you will write your private IP address. So my private IP address is 3.100, and then I will write what will be the corresponding public IP. So my corresponding public IP will be 170.7.7.4, and that's it. Done. We are done with the static NAT. My first, you have only one confusion is there. that first we need to write public IP or the private. Obviously, your source before NAT is a private. So you will write private IP first. And after that, you will write your public. So this source private IP should be changed to this public IP. So once I will configure that, static NAT is a two-way communication. So now anyone from the outside world, if they want to connect to my web server, they can use this public IP and they can reach to my web server. So let's try this. I will turn on my simulation mode, and in this mode, I will first capture the identity packet to show you when my PC4 is pinging this IP, where the packet is going. PC4 is on my internet, and it's going to ping my web server on public IP. And my public IP of the server is 71.4. Let's check that what we have. This PC is sending a packet, is going to the router, gateway router. NAT is checking the rule, is going to my server. PC4 is pinging this IP, but where the packet is going? To my web server. Why? Because on gateway router, there is a rule defined that anyone is coming on 170.77.4, my router will send that packet toward the web server. And when the reply go back, again, my gateway router will change the source IP from 3.100 to 77.4. And then we'll go to the outside this. So we will be able to get the reply. If I try to get the access of web server, I can test it also from here. I will only use the public. So that is the reason why this static net is used. Inside a company, if you have a server and you want to provide connectivity to the outside world, you have a two options. Either you can host your web server on the public IP or leave it to the private IP, just use a static net and they will be able to connect to your web server. Wrong IP, right? So this way, anyone from the internet can initiate the connection and connect to my web server. Because in case of a static NAT, two-way communication possible. Anyone from the outside can also start the connection and they can connect to my server. What is the translation rule? It is same that I defined here, and it will be always in my table. Here is my 77.4 is changed to the 3.100. So 3. Public IP, private IP will be changed to 170.77.4 all the time. So this way it is happening. Your static NAT. So static NAT is very useful in case your web server is working on private IP address and you want to provide the internet to connect to your website. So use the static NAT on the gateway router, it will provide the connection. So this way we are done with our all that type of NAT, how it works, what things we need to configure. In the next class, we'll discuss about the switching, the basic layer to switch, how it works, what is the VLAN, what is inter-VLAN communication, what is different protocol like a spanning tree protocol, Ether channel protocol. We'll see how much we can cover in the next class for the switching. Okay, yeah, so we'll stop here.